Hi, my name is Zizaran, and we just finished reading all the patch notes. I'm gonna try to do a TLDR of what I remember at least, and what I thought was like that stood out the most. Um, so yeah, I might not remember anything, so there might be a few things that were like big and exciting that I missed. But yeah, I'll try to. This is why I should have taken notes. Metamorph obviously going core is really good. The enemy Val side area improvements, like this is actually really big, especially the fact that putting in one Val fragment has been buffed significantly. This is really good. Gonna be very good early for sustaining maps if you need it for some reason. Like we don't know what the new drop rates are like. And hopefully this it should be a lot easier to get 6 things in them. And obviously remember that you can recolor 6 things in your crafting bench with Val herbs. So really nice, the new Val side areas. What else was like the big ones? Anime weapon looks like it's still fine. I was very worried about it getting nerfed massively. Should actually be pretty okay as even a starter right now. But yeah, it looks really strong. Obviously, you get actual flat fizz and stuff. So that's pretty exciting, and the Chains of Command version should be fine as well. Can't do skitter bots anymore though, so I would need to make a new guide for that. Let's see. EA is massively nerfed. Herald of Agony is not nerfed enough. It looks like a massive nerf on paper, but with all the buffs they've added for it, it's not enough, in my opinion. Not enough to destroy it, at least. It's still going to be one of the best boss heals, I'd imagine. Spectres were nerfed quite a lot in general from several areas. The precision thing is pretty worth talking about and noting, because it's massively nerfed at level 1, which is when most people used it. No longer 40% crit, it's 20. Zombies massively nerfed. Baron got nerfed as well, so zombies are fairly high nerf. Spirit Offering is, I would say, dead. Like it doesn't give you the recharge anymore. Summon Skeletons, pretty decently nerfed. Pretty happy with that. And yeah, slight buffs to Kinetic Blast and Power Siphon. Val Flame Blast got a pretty big buff. Still not enough to make me use Val Flame Blast. While leveling, it can be nice though. Unleash, definitely really cool. That got a huge buff. It was already really strong, and it was like several buffs. Like it can. There was another spot where it gets charges faster as well. So Unleash and Awaken Unleash, very nice buff. Another thing worth talking about as well is that Headhunter got massively nerfed. So that's great. I don't know if we've worked out the total time now, but it's a lot harder to scale Headhunter, and it doesn't last as long. So massive Headhunter nerf this league. Compared to, I was scared they weren't going to touch it. But yeah, so that's really cool. Passive tree wise, the thing that I cared the most about was the energy shield nodes in which should now make it better to do the starter nodes than, pathing out of the int if you're an ES build. Let's see. No, you need more curse effective node in this house. Zero impact. It's way harder to fit now. Way harder. It's definitely a nerf. It's not a buff. Do you like that this happened? I mean, I do, but I hate Headhunter. But anyway, let's see. What was the other important things? Bone Barrier got nerfed a bit, and Command of Darkness got buffed. Necro's still fine. I think Necro's going to be used a lot this league, but not so much for summons. Not as much for summons as before. I think that we're gonna see a lot of people doing Spell Slinger Necro with Detonate Dead, and Volatile Dead and Cremation. Assassin got a small nerf and a small damage buff. Mistwalker got a nerf. Mana Guardian, I wouldn't say dumpstered, but got a pretty big nerf. 10% instead of 15, so that's pretty decent. And item balance wise, there was a lot of changes with incursion stuff. We've seen a lot of incursion things be changed, nerfed, like especially the percentage life ones on jewelry were nerfed a lot, and incursion in general was buffed. I think we still haven't gotten to that part yet. Further nerfs to skeletons and zombies with no more +1 on armor and helmet. Now it's only on helmet. And there's been a huge rework to fossil. Fossils are massively reworked, and I think it will hopefully end up being a good thing. I'm a little bit disappointed in a lot of the mods that we're losing. But fossils were a little bit strong, and you felt a little bit too forced to use fossils sometimes. Like, I especially felt like this back in the day when Pristine had the extra percentage life mod, and obviously that was removed, and I ended up feeling that was a good thing, and Pristines were still really useful, right? Because it gives you such a high chance to get that. But they're further removing that, and they've removed all of the fossil exclusive mods and put that on other things like Shaper and Elder and stuff like that. Now, if you're wondering if Delve is still worth it, yes is the answer. It still drops a shitload of currency, so you're obviously going to be doing Delve if you're an SSF. And it's still one of the best ways of crafting. But it's not as mandatory as it was before. So that's nice. And obviously it's still so it's still like the way you craft for the, you know, disallowing areas and target crafting and stuff. So it's still very, very strong. Savior got a buff. This one's more interesting to me. Surfy's Heart, the Incursion Amulet, got a double buff. Or like, rather, it got doubled in power. The Soul Eater is now 20 seconds instead of 10. So that's very nice. That's substantial. Very substantial. Solstice Vigil got a nerf. 13% less buff expiration speed. So that is a nerf. It does get more damage to compensate and more mana regen, but again, another thing that makes it harder to scale Headhunter. Like, it's still not impossible, and people are still going to be using it loads, and you're going to see the same things as last league, but it's going to require more of an investment. So that's a step in the right direction. My favorite change for Headhunter would be buff the base duration by 10 seconds and make that it can't be modified at all. So you're stuck with a 30-second Headhunter. That's been fine for 3 years of Path of Exile, and people have loved using Headhunter during that time. And you know, the crazy duration Headhunter has just never been okay in my opinion. The tempered flesh and stuff like that has been changed. The bottom versions are pretty bad now, except for Tempered Spirit. Tempered Spirit's still amazing for movement speed builds or Delve runners. Whereas the upgraded versions are, you really want to upgrade them now. Transcendent Flesh is insanely strong, and Transcendent Mind is bonkers, especially for Essence Drain. This one gives you damage over time multiplier per 10 int. So there's some crazy places up in the Witch area that you can put this. So very, very strong. Crown Spectrum got slightly nerfed for the mana stuff. Most Mana Guardians weren't nerfing it, but you could use it on a budget. But yeah, pretty decent. I'm happy with that. Fevered Mind got a massive nerf. It is now 50% mana cost of skills increased instead of 100. So if you were doing anything and looking to do things like Indigon, that is a pretty bad nerf. Like, if you want your spells to be expensive. Which I love builds like that, so I'm sad about that. Shadow Stitch now is 250 to 350 increased defense. That's quite a lot. Shadow Stitches are really cool now. On's Heritage. This is pretty big, especially for me playing hardcore SSF a lot and League starting there. It's a big nerf, but they made it easier to get +1 max throws in other spots. It's still a good shield. It has 80 life and has a crazy high armor, so it's very, very good for Vile Molten Shell. So it's still a shield that you're gonna be happy when it drops an SSF, right? It's just not as like insane as it was before. Shaper's Touch got dumpstered. I still think it'll see use, but it's not gonna be like 200, 300 chaos on hardcore like it was last league. Very happy about the change. Crown of Ice got buffed 150% of spell damage to attacks instead of 100%, so very cool. Chains of Command, it's fine. They're just talking about like the minion changes. So with Chains of Command, You can animate 13 weapons that are level 18, and then I'm guessing the level 21. So you can have 14 minions basically. And yeah. So pretty cool. Chains of Command should be really, really strong, hopefully. Baron is fairly dumpstered. I still think people will use it, but, you know, because zombies were just so strong. It's definitely going to be less meta, and people are going to feel less forced to use it after the nerfs. I still think Spectres and Summoners are going to see a lot of use. I just think that people are going to feel less forced to use it. Like before, so many people felt very, very pushed towards or pigeonholed into Summoners when they didn't really want to play. Death's Harp is dumpstered. They even say here you can use a Divine Orb to ruin it and any existing Death Opuses. So that's good. It's a bit OP. Obliteration is massively buffed, especially for Spellslinger, because this is like, you know, you gotta remember that Spellslinger is adding all the flat damage to the spell. So that includes the physical. So this is a substantial chunk of flat added to physical to spells. So very, very nice. I think Obliteration, if they changed the rarity, I think Obliterations would be fairly expensive. I don't think it would be multi-X, but maybe like early on, maybe like 1X, maybe 2. I think it's simply too common of an item for it to be very expensive. It's hard to tell. This is just a wild guess. Doriani's Fist as well. This was something worth mentioning. Very cool. I think that's amazing. It's got like 200 to 250 energy shield and killing a shocked enemy. It's got 80 to 100 max CS flat. And just really, really cool item now. It's been buffed several ways. So very cool. I can see people using it. Soul Catcher and Soul Ripper has been nerfed significantly. That was because of some new, or because you could make Val Seals infinite easily. Let's see. Some nice monster changes like Spinning Blades. All the monster changes are nice. Their monster movement speed has a lower limit below which they cannot be slowed further. So it's just you can't like perma like make them immobile anymore. And monster skills that appear deal damage in waves, like the bats. They actually do them in waves, whereas it was instantly in the entire zone. So it'll come towards you and it'll be easier to dodge. The Duresso Spinning Blades will now have a short animation before they start dealing damage. Very, very good for new players, especially, and like making it easier to dodge. And some nice delve changes in terms of scaling. And the Val City areas now have been buffed. They were already pretty spicy, and if they've like made it easier to get maps and stuff, Val cities are spicy now. Incursion changes, there are many. The TLDR is Incursion is They've made Incursion amazing. There's more quantity, more rarity, more pack size. Very, very exciting. The one that stood out the most to me, which I'm curious to see how it works, is based on the tier of the Torment series rooms. Monsters through the present day temple now start possessed beginning at tier 2. If this is like even a large chunk, if it's all of them, it's bonkers. But if it's a large chunk, that's like the best thing to upgrade. But there's a lot of really, really good changes. Easier to get +1 by monster level and +1 tier. There's just so many good things here. The only thing, and I'm going to say this every 5 minutes because I hope that they'll eventually do this, is when Incursion first came out, I saw it was very like similar to like, Aztec stuff in movies and other games. And you have like the blood pits. I was hoping when you killed an architect that I tried to say blood and flow at the same time, that the blood would flow towards the boss and power up the boss. And I hope that there would be a boss. Currently, there's a placeholder Roomba, and I just can't get behind being excited about a vacuum cleaner. I want an actual Incursion boss, preferably one that gets empowered by every architect that's killed, like a blood sacrifice, right? I feel like whoever came up with the league had that in their mind and then they just ran out of time. But please revisit this even more Incursion is so cool. And the double corrupted strings of servitudes are really cool too. That means you can get some really great ones. If you get a quantity and movement speed one from the 83 one, as in item level 85 one, that is movement speed, quantity belt would sell for quite a lot, I'd say. Probably quite a lot of X. So definitely worth doing incursion now. Just honestly, like this section is worth like reading. I don't want to do all of it in the TLDR, obviously. Ashley and his Metamour Scarves, which is nice. This is very notable. The clones of Aziri that spawn whenever you stage her have 5 times more life than before. This is a crazy hard fight now that drops very unrewarding loot. So Uber Aziri is not that exciting or worth doing. For the current meta, none of the loot is particularly exciting. There's no chance I'm going to be doing it. But yeah. What else was exciting here? Oh yeah, and maps offered as part of a Zana mission will now have awakening level, so the Zana maps are more worth running now. And there were some other like decent changes. Death and taxes has been like massively changed. It's going to be faster, stronger, and better, and also drop better stuff. I can see this going wrong and just one-shotting people on the ladder. It's going to be fun to see. I hope it'll be massively wrong too, and just so we get some funny clips. I'm going to wait with going in there until somebody else has done it so I can see somebody die on the ladder. And some good changes to Conquerors as well. So that's pretty cool. And the Zana mods, pretty decent this league. I'm sad to see that there's no Legion. Happy to see that there's no Nemesis. You know, less Headhunters, the better. So that's cool. Blight might end up being a little bit too cheap. I think it's going to be everybody spamming Beyond for XP and everybody spamming Blight for money. And making an insane amount of money off for that. Perandis, always a little bit disappointed. I feel like this is way too little for 4C. I feel like for this I would rather always use the Scarab. So Perandis, very not exciting. Domination, never going to use. Bloodlines, might end up using early league if sustain is hard. Abyss, this is substantial and insane. Very cheap. Extremely cheap. And Abyss is obviously so good early. So this is very, very good. Ambush is whatever. And I'm sad there's no essence. Some decent user interface improvements, especially for like Zana and maps and stuff. And just generally a very, very cool patch. A lot of things I was surprised by, and I was surprised to see there's no Essence Drain nerf. Essence Drain is insanely strong. Sad there's no Essence. Yeah, Essence is really good, especially if you want to use like horror essences and stuff. But yeah, a lot of good stuff here. Obviously, like power creep ends up getting very out of hand very easily in a game like this. And then you end up with like crazy stuff like Diablo eventually. So obviously, it looks healthy for the game. Essence Drain should be very, very strong in this patch. I'll be making, I think we're making 6 League Start videos. And I will be League Starting Spellslinger. And a lot of cool stuff here. This was like the main stuff. Oh, Sirius got buffed actually. That's worth mentioning. Sirius did get buffed. He's harder now. And I will be pushing hard for level 100 this league. I just wanted to try to do a TLDR as short as possible. But yeah, we're hopefully posting 11 videos before Friday. So for those of you wondering why I'm so tired on league starts, it's because I've generally already been doing 20 to 30 hour sessions. So if you like the YouTube content, subscribe to the channel and sub on Twitch. Pog. Thanks. But yeah, so a lot of content coming out before League Start. So yeah, that was the shortest TLDR I can think of making. And lots of League Start videos coming. I can give a quick list actually. League Start videos will most likely be Blade Vortex, Anime Weapon, Spellslinger. Probably, if I have time, 2 Spellslinger guys. One would be Assassin and another would be Elementalist. Lacerate, Bleed Bow, and Essence Drain. So that should be very exciting. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the content. Thanks for watching, and try to die less than I do.